So, when I was little, we lived in an older house. And because it was an older house, it had creaks and knocks. And my brother we thought that squirrels lived up in the attic, but it made a lot of noise. And when we were younger, my mom always made us sleep with our bedroom doors open. I don't know if this is like a mom thing, but she wanted to be able to hear us should anything happen in the middle of the night. And on my bed, I had this pink blanket. Now, the pink blanket was no more thicker than a sheet was, but it was my pink blanket and I loved it. And so, because the house was old and made a lot of noises, I would get really scared. And when I got really scared, I would take my pink blanket up over my head and I would disappear. And that was my superpower. My superpower was that when I pulled my pink blanket over my head, what ultimately happened is I fell asleep, I woke up and it was morning. But to me, when I pulled it up over my head, that made me feel calm. That made me feel like whatever was coming up the steps or whatever squirrels were coming down through the attic were not going to be able to get me because they couldn't see me. My pink blanket was basically my disappearing act. That was my superpower. I want to talk to you today about your superpower. Your superpower is the thing that makes you uniquely you. It's that thing that when other people see you, they're like, oh, you're so this. Or when somebody talks about you, whether you're there or not, they say, he is so that, or she is definitely that kind of person. For those who don't know me, my name is Shannon Wooten. I am a life coach. I help people manage their negative feelings and focus on what it is you specifically need to be happy. So my question is, why do our superpowers just disappear suddenly as we become an adult? You know, my pink blanket went away and so did my superpower. I mean, if I pull my blanket over my head now, I could lay in bed specifically for several hours and never fall asleep at some nights because my brain just keeps going. So without my pink blanket, I guess I'm defenseless and I don't have a superpower. But as adults, we grow up and we lose that. We lose that idea of I have a superpower and it is this. And I don't know if it's because we become conditioned to believing that's childish or believing that we aren't capable of having a superpower, or if we specifically associate it with you need to fly with a cape to have a superpower. I don't know what it is. But I do know that there is a very good example of this. Recently, I saw this movie, and it is called This Is Where I Leave You. And in the movie, it stars Jason Bateman, Tina Fey, and Adam Driver. So in the movie, Adam Driver is Tina Fey and Jason Bateman's younger brother. And Tina Fey is going through a hard time. And her younger brother, played by Adam Driver, he is a total train wreck. He is ego-driven, he's in his 20s, and in my mind, acting like a typical 20-year-old. So, you know, he's going through his whole 20s and has his own issues. And for Tina, she's going through a tough time with her life, her marriage, finding happiness with how everything turned out for her and really facing that struggle to be happy with the choices that she made. She's thinking that life happened to her instead of really realizing that this is not something that just happened. You made an active choice in this. And in this moment in the movie, she's extremely depressed and on the verge of making some bad choices, for which her younger brother comes to her and says something super amazing to her. She's in the backyard, she's struggling with this pack and play looking thing, and he comes out and he says to her what's wrong. She explains that, you know, she nothing's going right and she's not happy with her life and she's just screwing everything up. She's screwed her whole life up. And he explains to her that every decision that he makes in his life, every action that he takes, every step that he takes forward, whether it's forward or backwards, she's the voice in his head. She is the conscious. She is the, do you need to do this? She is the person that is so influential to him that that's her superpower. So she doesn't realize that. She's not conditioned to seeing the impact that she had on his life. And as adults, whether it's bringing a blanket up over your head and that's your superpower that you can disappear and run away from whatever potential hairy, scary monster is coming up your steps, we lose that. So what is your superpower? We tend to think that we need to have a lot of money as adults. We need to have some sort of title, somebody validating us to make us feel like we're worthy of some sort of superpower. Why does it need to be that level? Why does it need to be somebody else validating you, something validating you, like I said, a title or money, to give you your superpower? It can be that you're a great listener who gives great advice. And on the flip side of that, you don't know why you don't take your own advice. You're not sure why somebody thinks that you give great advice. I do this to myself all the time. I give advice and then I'm somehow stuck on the other side thinking, why can't I do that for myself? Maybe you don't trust yourself. Maybe that's something you need to work on. Or superpower, maybe it's that you can take bad situations and tell the truth and it still sound like it's gonna be okay. You can still make it a good one. Maybe you're an excellent problem solver. You're super organized professionally, but personally, somehow you feel like you're falling short. Maybe you're not happy in whatever circumstance that is. Maybe you're not happy in your job. Maybe you're not happy in your role. And maybe it has nothing to do with any of that. Maybe it's not the job. Maybe it's not the role, but maybe you don't feel challenged. Maybe you don't feel like you're being creative enough. Maybe you have the wrong outlet to expel your superpower in the right way. Or maybe you're really great at making people laugh and your energy is infectious. I mean, think about how many people you know that as soon as they start talking to you, you're just like, yeah, I want to do that too. Like, I don't even know what it is, but I'm doing it, I'm going. Maybe that's your superpower. Maybe you're positive for others, but not for yourself. Our superpowers don't leave us when we become adults. We just lose sight of what really truly makes us uniquely us. Pulling my pink blanket over my head is incredibly ridiculous in my mind. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to go downstairs and pull my red comforter over my head and it's not going to have the same effect because it's not my pink blankie. No, that's not the reason. I mean, even though that makes me happy on the insides, that's not the reason. The reason is I don't believe it. When I was younger, I probably felt like that was my safety net. That was my comfort zone. So whatever potentially was coming up the steps or down through the attic just couldn't get me because my pink blanket was there. So think about that. Think about maybe you are the person that everybody always says, you're such a great listener, you give such great advice, or you can always take this bad situation and somehow make me feel better, somehow make it a great one. Or you have this incredible ability to just make people laugh. Your energy is infectious. Those things are nothing to be, turned your nose down at or to be ignored. Those are your superpowers. Having the ability to be uniquely you doesn't mean needing to be superhuman. Actually, your superpower is when you are most human. It's that thing that you're so great at doing and other people tell you constantly, but it goes in one ear and out the other. I don't know why we can't take that and ingest it, but it deserves attention. It deserves looking into. It deserves stop thinking that it's complete and utter BS. When someone says something that's complimentary to you, it very well can be your superpower. So maybe start believing it. Maybe get a pink blanket and pull it over your head. No, I'm just kidding. But it doesn't have to be superhuman for you to be having your own superpowers and be so completely compelling and really supportive to somebody else. Just let that be what it is. So hopefully you found this was helpful, and hopefully you'll start thinking about the things that people say to you that go in one ear and out the other, and really ingest it and really take to heart that that person is taking the time, even if it is, flying by the seat of their pants, walking to another conference call, or, you're walking down the street, or somebody texts you something nice. Don't take these moments in vain. Consider them your superpowers. So when you're going through something that's incredibly difficult, something that challenges you to the point where you are second guessing yourself, second guess your ability to cope with something. Take those ideas, those thoughts of, maybe this is my superpower. I'm really good at that for other people. How can I start being good at that for myself? All right, guys, be easy. Have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon.